welcome back to Ashart Books. Today I'm going to be doing a recommendations video based on a trope. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a couple of these where I give you guys some book recommendations based on a specific book trope. So I think a lot of us have our favorite like romantic tropes or just tropes in books in general. And I've done a video before where I kind of talked about my favorites and my least favorites. So I thought it'd be kind of a little bit different to give you guys some recommendations based on those quotes. So today's is actually going to be about a fake relationship trope. So this is one of my personal favorites. I just think the idea of two people kind of having a fake relationship that obviously typically turns into a real relationship is just, it's gold. I think the forced proximity to people kind of having to be with each other a lot of the time just is a recipe for a great love story. So these are a few of my favorites. I did want to also mention that I don't have any historicals on this list. So it's 5 books, but they're all contemporaries, mostly because if it's a fake relationship and it's a historical romance, typically that's going to be a marriage of convenience type trope, which is slightly different because they are married, not just fake dating or like fake engaged. So I'll probably maybe do a video about my favorite marriages of convenience at a later date. So let me know if you'd be interested in that, but just want to mention that's why there's not any historicals on this list. My first recommendation is Roomies by Christina Lauren. This is one of my favorite books of, I think it was 2017 when I read it. It was great. So this book is about a girl who lives in New York and she loves watching this subway music performer, artist, I guess you'd say. And he's fantastic and she watches him like all the time. Somebody's stalking him. I'm just kidding. But she does watch him a lot. And she just thinks he's a fantastic musician. So her uncle is actually like I think he's like a producer for like Broadway type shows and he's looking for a new musician. And so she's like, hey, you have to come see this guy. I think he's fantastic and he'll be great for the part. So he goes to see him, he's great, he wants to hire him, and the guy says no. And the reason he says no is because he's actually in the country illegally because he had a student visa and it expired years ago and he kind of never fixed that problem or he wasn't able to fix it, so he's not supposed to be here. I believe he's Irish, I'm pretty positive. It was Irish or Scottish, I'm pretty sure it's Irish. So our main character is like, hey, I know how I can fix this problem. Let's get married. So basically that's their story. It's adorable. The two of them, again, having to kind of cohabitate and just get to know each other while being married. So technically this one is a marriage of convenience, but I went ahead and included it because it is a contemporary. It's really cute. Recommend. Okay, my next recommendation for a fake relationship is When It's Real by Erin Watts. This is a YA, new adult, somewhere in the middle book about a kind of rock star, I guess. He's a musician named Oakley and he kind of has a bad reputation. He's gotten himself into some hot water and he needs to make himself, I think it's like his agent or someone, PR, says, hey, you've got to clean up this image. Like, you want to sell things, like you need to be more of like a squeaky clean, like nice guy. So I don't remember exactly how it happens, but basically our main female character meets him and asks her if she would be willing to enter into this fake relationship with him and basically to help improve his image. And she was like, like no way. But then obviously like reality kind of sunk in and they offer her a pretty big sum of money to do so, and she really needs the money. I don't remember why. It's a little fuzzy. I read this a couple of years ago, but I remember absolutely loving it and I kind of want to reread it. So this one's really fun because it's got like a well, actually both of them had musicians, but this one's got like a rock star. Obviously things happen. This one's a bit of a slow burn. Like, you know, sometimes when they're put in forced proximity, things happen very quickly. And from what I remember, this one took a while for anything other than just like friendship / fake dating for like the paparazzi to kind of happen. So I really enjoy this. I love Erin Watts' writing. It's just so addicting that you cannot put it down, whether it's YA or they're like new adult or adult books. So definitely recommend this one as well. Okay, so the next recommendation I have is One Week Girlfriend by Monica Murphy. So I read this a long time ago, probably like 3 or 4 years ago, but I have reread it since then and it was really fun. So there's a bit of a theme going on here. Obviously they all have fake relationships for a purpose. Again, this one is kind of like the one I just talked about where he needs to improve his image in a way, but for him it wasn't really like, you know, media image, it was like for his family. So he is I believe he's a football player in college, and his family is very wealthy and they have very high expectations for him. And there's like a lot of background for his family and like bad things that have gone on in the family. He wants to bring this fake girlfriend with him on like this family trip. If I remember right too, it was also picking someone who was nothing like what they would actually want for him. Like, she's not necessarily what they would want for their son. So I think it was also a like, I'm gonna have a fake girlfriend and also someone who's gonna kind of annoy my parents. He offers her money and she really needs it. She's working like I think a couple of jobs. She's got really hard circumstances as well, and she's like, you know what? I think it's for like a month or so. She's like, I'll do it. And I just remember loving this book. Again, this one was just really fun. It was really fast paced. I still remember like a lot of it considering I read it 4 years ago. So I definitely really like this one, and Monica Murphy's writing is just, again, one of those that you can't put down. All right, so the next recommendation is Act Like It by Lucy Parker. I've talked about Lucy Parker a few times on my channel because I think she's fantastic. This is part of her London Celebrity series. It's the first one, and I loved this book. So Lucy Parker does just such a fantastic job of writing her characters. All of her books in the series so far have taken place in London. It has to do with like the theater scene. So this one though, hence why it's in this video, is about a fake relationship between two actors. So we have our male character who again needs to clean up his image. He's made some poor choices that are reflecting badly on him, and he is a very famous actor, and so in comes kind of like a new upcoming actress that basically could kind of use the publicity in a way, but she's very hesitant to get it this way. Their publicists, their people, I guess you'd say, agents and whatnot, decide like, hey, you're both gonna get something out of this relationship. Like, you'll get a cleaner image, you'll get good publicity to help you kind of rise up in the actor ranks. So it's just about their story. I loved reading about like the London parts of it. It was again like a slow burn. You also get to really know like the characters, because even though he has a bad image, like obviously there's a lot more to him than that. You just don't get to see it every day, you know, on the tabloid covers. So I just thought it was so good. Lucy Parker's writing is really fantastic. And even though, yes, he had more, I guess you'd say like power because he was much more well known in the world of acting, I never felt like she was being like, they had a really bantery relationship, but I never felt like he was like talking down to her or like didn't think that she was as good or anything like that. Because sometimes that can be hard when there is that like one person is much more kind of successful than another. But I just loved their banter back and forth, and she gave as well as he gave. So I loved it. Definitely go check out Lucy Parker. That whole series is great. My last recommendation is one I actually just read, which is Work in Progress by Stacey Hart. So I'll talk about this one more in my like February wrap up as well, but I had to include it because it kind of inspired this video, because this one again has a fake relationship trope. And in this one, it's a writer. So our main character, Thomas Bain, is a kind of like fantasy writer. Then our female main character is a book blogger, and she became very successful for kind of her critique of his novels. So she's actually now writing some for the New York Times newspaper, and she goes to his signing and she thinks he's gonna hate her, like it's gonna go terribly, terribly bad. But he actually really likes her critique of his work because A, it's giving him more publicity, and B, it kind of makes him a better writer, he feels like. Our main female character is very shy. She does not do well with social situations. She's not comfortable with anything like that, but she's been trying to kind of push herself out of her comfort zone some, especially with her new job and things like that. So Thomas Bain has this like crazy idea that he's gonna ask her to come to his house and help him like write his new book. Like basically kind of be like a critique partner and have her read things and help him suggest things. Because one thing in particular that she hates in his books is his romances, that he does not get it right and he always messes it up. So basically that somehow turns into a fake relationship, which that's kind of partway into the book, so I don't want to go into it completely, but just know there is a fake relationship in this and it is adorable. I loved it so much. I kind of want to reread this book. It was so cute. I loved it. You got to see about like book bloggers and authors and kind of what goes into that. Obviously the fake relationship was a big part of it. Thomas Bain is known as like the bad boy of like the kind of writing world, I guess. And so obviously that's part of why that fake relationship comes to be. She also really becomes who she is through him. She really grows in her confidence. She really just comes out of her shell and becomes a new person throughout this book, and it was so good. So definitely pick up Work in Progress by Stacey Hart. I loved it. Those are my 5 suggestions for books that have a fake relationship trope in them. Definitely let me know if you have any other books that have that trope in it, because as I said, it's my favorite and I'm always looking for more. Also, down below, let me know if there's any tropes that you'd really like recommendations for. I have a couple of ideas, but if there's any that you're like, yes, I really want recommendations for like this particular trope, definitely let me know and I will see if maybe we can do that one next. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.